Hey everyone, welcome into the Arena Fantasy Series discussion portal here on the Arena Productions. I'm your host and the founder of the Arena Productions here on YouTube and on Patreon, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley. Burley, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you, Expat?
I'm doing good. So we got another review and breakdown episode here of Lord of the Rings of Power. So episode 6, Udûn. So we're going to be talking to Udûn, so episode 6. So before we do that, of course, I just want to let everybody know that this is going to be a spoiler-filled review and breakdown episode of course, the Lord of the Rings of Power. So if you have not watched this episode, please go and watch it first and then come back and enjoy our review and breakdown of the episode, because there's going to be spoilers throughout. So with that warning, let's go ahead and jump in, Burley. So yeah, I mean, it was a really fun episode. And what was cool about this episode was they didn't go from different parts of the world in this episode. This episode was strictly in the Southlands, and that's what I really liked about it. I mean, they focused right on this concentrated area for this one episode. So there were a lot of characters we did not see this episode. We didn't see the Meteor Man, we didn't see Durin or any of them. We focused only on the Southlands. What did you think of that?
I liked it. Well, you kind of figured that's what they were going to do, because you were building up to it in the ending of last episode, because you know that the orcs really want this blade.
Yeah.
And he really wants that blade back. You know, and the humans are screwed there. You knew that's what that was building to.
Yeah. So we see in the first image here, of course, Adar, and he's got his army there, and they are about to storm the tower and everything. So they're pretty much ready. They've got all the orcs have all their, or I should call them uruks. they have their torches, and they're ready to storm the tower. Yeah, but who gets in their way? Yes, good old Arondir.
Yeah.
Yes. So they had some plan made up, and of course Arondir, once they get into the courtyard there of the tower and stuff, he just brings it down, and you see all the rubble falling on them, and the villagers had already taken off. They were going to the adjacent village. So Arondir was all by himself there, with his archery skills and bringing down the tower. What'd you think of that, man?
I liked it, but at the same, I like how he's drawing them in. He starts shooting a few of them because they're like he says, I smell them, and they couldn't find him, so he just comes out, starts shooting a few of them to draw them more and more into this keep.
Yeah, and
they set it up. You knew they were going to throw the watchtower down.
Yeah.
But my I like the scene, but my only criticism is he shoots one arrow to get the last strap, and it falls down.
Right.
It's I have a little problem. I like the scene, but I have a little problem with that.
Yeah. So, they got to make it look spectacular, in the moment and stuff. But so anyway, we get back to the village, and in the next image here, of course, we have Bronwyn with Arondir, and Arondir is trying to destroy the key, and he can't destroy it, and so he basically is at a crossroads where he's like, okay, I'm gonna have to bury this somewhere, so nobody will ever find it. What did you think of this scene, Burley? And then of course we see them get intimate here for a second, but I mean, the main part of the sequence, the key, it cannot be broken, it seems.
Yeah, I like that. It's showing that he tries both the elven craft and human craft. He cannot undo it. So he is now realizing, okay, if I can't destroy this thing, we've got to hide it where no one will find it.
Right. So anyway, then we get obviously the orcs or the Uruks. You know, they find them, of course, and at night they come in and they attack. But of course, the villagers get the upper hand. But then they figure out, you know, that those that they killed in the battle were actually the other villagers that had, went to Sauron's side. Basically, they were the traitors. So the orcs had basically used the traitors as bait, to fight them first, and then, once they figured out that it was their own people, then the orcs or the Uruks, started just taking all of them out with the archery. What did you think of that part?
Oh, I really like this battle because they are out. You can tell even with that watchtower scene. Yeah. You can tell they are outmanned. They don't have a chance in hell.
Yeah,
and so they have to use traps and tricks.
Yeah.
To surround their enemy and win. They don't have a numbers game. The orcs are better trained than the humans.
Yeah.
And at first, when you're thinking it's all just orcs that attack them, no, you're like, oh, how are these orcs? Even though they're trapping them, like besides the trapping them in fire and then the arrows raining down, how are all these orcs dying? Because they have more training than most of those farmer humans.
Right.
And what turns out, most of them are humans. There's a couple orcs put in there in that group.
Yeah, and one of them was a huge, big-ass giant orc that almost killed Arondir. I mean, he was just manhandling him and all, but luckily he got some assistance, at the end there, and was able to take down the big orc. But anyway, so they get trapped, and of course, Bronwyn, she gets, severely injured. Of course, she's like shot and impaled with, of course, an arrow, and so they have to use some, medicinal. Kind of like almost like magic in a sense to try to stop the bleeding and to cauterize the wounds and all. So that was a little gross to see in a sense. But hey, that's war, and stuff. And but they're able to cauterize it and everything. But then it's like Adar comes in there and he's able to get the key. Because it's like it's either that or everybody dies. And as they're doing that, obviously, of course, Galadriel and the Númenóreans, they're coming. They had been on the ships earlier in the episode, and then they finally got there. So I mean, it's like, how fast could they get there? That's kind of the only thing I had about this episode was like, it's like they must be traveling pretty damn fast to be able to get there and to save them at just the right moment. Yeah, what did you think, man?
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go back to the orcs have them captured in the tent, or in the tavern.
Right.
Sorry. I like that the cauterizing the wound, using the seeds, and just burning it shut.
Yeah.
Like, I still say she should be dead.
Yeah. Yeah, she was bleeding out basically.
No, she should have been dead. Like I understand. Because this is Tolkien kind of stuff, so you don't want as many people dying. But it would have been like, shown the show has balls and is willing to kill, be like, oh my god, it does kill someone.
Yeah,
it's like no, and then
yeah.
But I love that the elf is just him and Sauron's force is just negotiating. He's like, let them all go, and I'll consider giving you the key. It's like, dude, you have no leg to stand on.
Yeah.
You know this guy is not gonna I don't know why you're trying to negotiate.
Right.
You should be like, okay, I will take you outside. The key is not in this building. I'll take you outside. It's a little bit away, and just try and draw them away and let the villagers run.
Right.
That's what he should have done.
Right. So, I mean, and as we see in the image here, they have like a battalion, basically. That's about 500 troops on horseback here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think a battalion is going to be enough against this, entire army of orcs, wherever they are. I mean, they've probably just, found the first few of them, basically.
Oh.
So, I mean, as we go forward in this, I mean, where are the other reinforcements going to come from? I'm interested to find that out later. But anyway, so they come in, and of course they attack the orcs and everything. And of course, here we see an image of the Queen Regent. She's on the hill there with her, with her vanguard and everything. And yeah, I mean, it was a cool attack, as they came in on horseback and all. And then you see Galadriel and Arondir meeting each other there for the first time, and he's telling her that Adar, the commander, is escaping, and you have to stop him because what he has, he can't get away with that. But before that, as Adar is coming out of the village there, he gives the key. He gives the key to Waldrig, who is, of course, the lead traitor. And he's basically telling him, I have a mission for you, And we're going to see later on what that mission is. But so basically he doesn't have the key. So he's got he's got something else in his hand. So, yeah. I didn't catch that at first, but later on it's like, okay, he's got a decoy, in that, little that wrapping thing. So, so Galadriel goes after Adar, and the horseback chase, that was really cool. And like Galadriel's talking to the horse, to make him speed up. And then the scene here in the image, of course, Halbrand comes out from the other side and just basically takes Adar's horse out. And that was a badass move. Yeah, what'd you think of that, man?
Yeah. Excuse me there. My whole thing was with these forces just coming in so quick, like you were saying earlier. Yeah, this was way too freaking quick that they just get over there. Because at the beginning of the episode, they're still on the boats coming on. Like, it's not like they had just landed, and then like for them to know that this is where they are, it's like this is just
make all haste, everything. So, But
and like they only had loaded up one horse on the boats when you saw them loading up the boats, and it was the horse that Galadriel was on. So it's like, where did you get the other 499 horses?
Yeah,
especially since you only had 3 boats. So it's like,
yeah.
But I did like the battle of them coming in and Galadriel and Arondir, them talking in their language, being like, you cannot have this.
Yeah.
And little did you know he had already handed it off at this point.
Yeah, the thing I just don't get, though, is when Halbrand had him pinned down on the ground, of course, he takes a spear and, puts it through his hand and all, Adar's hand. You would have thought that he would have checked what's inside of that, But nobody checked anything. It's like they just took it back, and then
Halbrand won't. Halbrand, you can see in this moment, is plotted by revenge.
Right.
Galadriel is more concerned about, at first, just keeping him alive and
to interrogate him. Right.
Yeah, to interrogate him, to find more out about Sauron. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, the item's on the ground there. She doesn't think to look, and she doesn't know what it is.
Right.
So I don't blame those two. But when they take him back...
Yeah, and when Galadriel gives it back to Arondir, I would have thought Arondir should have opened it and looked. Yeah, but.
Yeah, that was sloppy writing. That Arondir doesn't just open it or notice the difference. It takes till it goes back to Theo, I believe his name is.
Yeah, Theo. Yeah, and
him, you can tell he feels that the shape is off and everything.
Yeah, and then he opens it up and it's just a little axe in there. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, even by that time, it's too late. Obviously, it's too late. I mean, it's the damage has already been done. Basically, we're going to get to that in a minute, but I want to get to the interrogation between Galadriel and Adar, and it was interesting because Adar was basically trying to, make Galadriel understand that these Uruks, have just as much of a right as everybody else to have life, whether or not it's a twisted way or not. it's kind of, I mean, I can understand somebody probably taking their side, but
Yeah.
in the sense that, every living thing has, the right to have an existence, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting how Adar was basically saying to Galadriel, and it's like, I guess I'm not the only one, dark elf, that's twisted and stuff. Just look in the mirror and you'll see Sauron. So,
Well,
yeah.
and in that interrogation, not negotiation, he
Yeah.
says something that's really key. That if you're a book reader and you've read the lore, you can kind of fathom what might be happening.
Uh-huh.
Because he says, I destroyed Sauron. I split him in
I killed
two.
Sauron. Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah.
I killed him. I split him in two.
Yeah. Split him in two. Interesting. Yeah, because Galadriel is basically, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So I mean, because like on the internet right now, basically, there's a lot of people saying that Sauron could be like a character that we're seeing in the show in disguise.
Yeah.
Maybe possibly Halbrand could be Sauron in disguise, or the Meteor Man, as we've talked about in previous episodes. He could possibly be Sauron in disguise. I don't know. What's your take on that, Burley?
I think Sauron is split into two different people.
Okay.
In the show, and this is something of Sauron. He in the books and all that, he is in disguise. Like, he is learning. Like, one of the things he is in disguise in the Elven Kingdom, and learning their craft about crafting rings and all that. He has learned that. Halbrand is one part.
Okay.
I think that's one half of him. As for my second half, I don't know if it's Meteor Man. That one seems too easy to me. But I think he is the elf that we see at the beginning that's really wanting this tower so badly built.
Oh, okay.
All this for the doors.
Like the architect. I call him the architect. Yeah.
The architect. Yeah. I can't remember his name. The architect is great.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously, Galadriel was going to kill Adar as well, but Halbrand stops her. And so they go outside and they have a little chat, about, thinking about each other in a sense when they're fighting, and in combat and everything and stuff like that. And then, of course, we get the scene with the two from Númenor. Elendil. Yep.
In Isildur. Yeah.
Yeah. Arondir and Isildur. Yeah. And of course, that was a cool scene with the horse. But then they see something happen. Yeah.
And then we we find out that key was being used.
Yep. So Waldrig had gone back to the tower and used the key. Yes, as was instructed by Adar. And then it breaks open the dam, and then the water, of course, runs into, the Mountain of Doom there. And then we get the eruption and the shockwave and everything, and then just the whole area gets decimated. And the thing I really love about this, it goes back to Tolkien's writings, because Tolkien was really thinking about how industrialization destroys nature to a degree. And we've seen that in a couple of episodes now. We saw like Númenor being destroyed by the Great Wave. And now we see the destruction of the land with, of course, the dam being, of course, opened up, prematurely there, with the twisting of the key. And then obviously the eruption and the destruction of the entire land there. So what did you think of that, Burley?
I liked it. I know some book purists and stuff are not exactly happy with this, but I thought it was neat and a payoff to just having all these tunnels, because it's like you have to give more than one like the basic explanation of just these orcs are using these just to preserve, go further and further. It's like I need more than that. Um,
But you
so
see
it was nice to
Galadriel
see.
just standing there. I mean, and then of course she just gets enveloped right at the end there, and obviously she survives because we've seen,
Mhm.
bits and pieces of, of episode 7, and she's like just, in the cinders basically, and just covered in ash. So it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. It'll be interesting to see if how many of the villagers and some of the other main characters, if they actually survived or not. I'm sure probably the main characters did, but when it comes to the other villagers, I don't know.
Oh, a lot of those villagers should be dead because
Yeah,
of the ash and everything.
yeah, and
Galadriel, she has plot armor, and
yeah,
like she is in the movies, so
right.
you know
She's not
she
going
isn't.
anywhere. Right,
She's not going to die or anything like that.
right, right. So, what did you think of the episode overall, Burley? I thought it was really cool. We got our first battle sequences in the show, so I was I was really impressed by some of the of course the CGI, especially with the volcanic eruption and everything. I thought it was a good episode overall. What did you think?
I really enjoyed it. It's probably my favorite of the whole season so far.
Yeah, and we only have 2 episodes left.
Yep.
of season 1. Obviously, they're coming back for season 2, but yeah,
Oh, yeah.
only 2 more episodes left. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it. I'm sure it's probably going to pick up right in the Southlands again at the beginning of the episode. But I think next episode we're going to be going to other parts of the world again.
Yeah, I say a good 15 to 20 minutes will be spent on the fallout of last episode.
Yeah.
Here, but you'll still get I'm sure the elves, the dwarves, and the Hotfoots.
Yeah.
You get all that.
And probably those white cloaked monk type of individuals looking for the Meteor Man. I'm sure we'll probably see them again too. So
yeah.
All right, so let us know in the comments what you thought of this episode. What did you think of course, the Númenórean army coming in so quickly to save the day? What did you think of that? What did you think of the ending of the episode? Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments. We're really looking forward to hearing from you. And if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to hit that like and the subscribe and the notification bell for when we drop a new episode of our review and breakdowns of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, as well as all of our other content here on the Arena Productions. So thank you so much for watching, and we really appreciate your support. So thank you so much. So I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley. We hope to catch you in the next review and breakdown episode of course, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, here on the Arena Fantasy Series Discussion Portal on the Arena Production. So take care, everyone. Peace
Take care, everyone.
out.